Hey friends, welcome back to the Gentleman's Journey. Guys, we are back at one of my favorite places. If you've watched back the channel, you'll know right where we are. We're here with my good buddy, Joe Martinez. And guys, we're at Martinez Boot and Shoe Repair in Alamosa, Colorado. So, Joseph, thanks so much for having us back.
No, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, for you to come into our small little shop. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I'll tell you what, you were famous on the YouTubes because people just love your down-to-earth personality. People really love what you guys got going on here, and they want more of your insight. So friends, what we're doing today, this is a big one, and I put a lot of pressure on my buddy just so I can take the pressure off me. We're going to be comparing some whites, some nicks, and then some franks over here. So guys, we're going to get into these. If you watch back the channel, you've already seen these boots, but let's just start cracking open some of these boxes and seeing what we're dealing with here. So
I like these boots because in this area, we have a lot of people who do a lot of hiking. We have a lot of firemen, so I'm glad you brought these in. Yeah.
Yeah. These are some brands you might not see as much in this area, but I think these companies need to reach out to this area for sure. So these are all basically going to have, I guess, the similarity that we'll see right out the gate is they all have that logger heel on them. So friends, it's going to be pretty ad lib. We're just going to go through and talk about some of the differences, some of the characteristics. But I'm just keen to know what Joseph thinks about these boots. And I don't know, maybe we'll figure out which one you would buy or recommend, or maybe some things you like or don't like about them.
Okay, well, speaking from my limited experience, don't have that much experience on boots, but I've worked on a lot of them. A lot of the things I look at is the sole right away. I see what kind of sole, and especially on a type of boot like this, you see the Vibram sole. Vibram is also a real good company. And I noticed on the different kind of boots, these ones were screwed in, which is fine, you know, but I would always prefer to see if you could get them sewed. And if you look at these, the difference, you have the screwed and then you have the sewed sole. I think that makes them a lot stronger, it can stand to a lot more. You have less complications with them coming off. Although, you know, even screwed, they still stay on. So that's one thing I look at the sole. And of course the brand, the Vibram brand. I think everybody's familiar with the Vibram. And we deal a lot with Vibram soles here.
And I guess this one had one layer of stitching, and that had two.
If you can get some with two, that's the best, if you can get it with two. One is nice, but two is even better, which makes it just a lot stronger, a tight bond on that sole. Yeah.
This is the honey. They say it's a little bit softer. I don't know if you've had that in your experience.
Yeah, the weight, it's a little bit heavier, but this is a lot softer. I think they use these more for, it's less pressure, less stress on when you're walking with the with the honey. So it makes it a little bit more cushiony.
How many stitch down boots do you see as opposed to maybe the Goodyear or Blake or other thing? How often do you see that stitch down profile?
I don't see it that much here. Around here we see those single stitching. I've noticed a lot of the boots are going through is what they call man-made material. So I look at the welt right away to see what kind of welt, and I looked at these right away and I seen these are not man-made material. This is a true leather welt. So that's one thing I look at. When I see that boot, I look at them right away to see what kind of welt do they have. And these have a great leather welt on them. If you have a welt, they can handle being repaired. They'll take the stress. It's just a better boot, and it's good on your arches and it's good on your feet with that leather welt. Yeah. And also I noticed the midsole on these.
Yeah.
Again, it's a leather midsole. Boy, that right away tells you what kind of quality of boot you have when you see that leather midsole. And that's that sole that's in between here. Usually they'll have a rubber sole or a plastic sole, but no, these are good leather soles. So if I look at these ones, Who was the other one? Yeah. And these ones, yeah.
They all pretty much follow that same standard. It's that, again, kind of logger profile boot. This one's the Smoke Jumper by Whites, so this is the Wildland Firefighter. Lots of guys.
I like that suede on there, yeah.
Yeah. This one actually has the fight. This could be, you could fight fires with this boot. Everything's approved all the stitching and all that is ready to
I
go.
wonder about that. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
That's real important for that, something like that. I don't know if you'd want to use a boot like this for a fire party.
Right.
You could, I guess, but you have to really condition that suede and the leather on there. Another thing I kind of look at too is the seams. What kind of seams do they have? How are those sewed? The only thing I seen obvious on these was, I don't know what happened on this boot.
Yeah.
There was something that maybe the guys that were making these were in a hurry or something, but generally you don't see that on a boot.
Yep, that was
Yeah.
my biggest ding that I gave them on that boot, was just that sticking out.
Sticking
And
out.
the price point's, over 500 on these guys. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think that's when that makes it a big difference when you see something like that.
Mhm.
Then you see this is the suede, this is the leather, the same thing, the stitching, all the seams. How much did they sew these, or how many stitches? And you can see there's approximately
Yeah.
4 stitches. That's good. Usually
Yeah.
they have just the one.
gotcha.
Yeah, so you know that these were made heavy duty boots to last you a long time. I noticed on one of these there was and that was probably when you were walking or something, there was a cut on these, and you
Yeah.
can see how the leather on this, how strong that leather is, it withstood that.
Barbed
So-
wire.
and you
Barbed
got-
wire fence was along the ground and caught it and
And you
tripped me
could
up
see that if it was a regular boot, that wouldn't have lasted.
right through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right through. So this was a quality boot. Also, I look at what they call the eyelets and the hooks. What kind of hooks did they have? The metal hooks, and you can see the difference on these. The heavy duty metal hooks on there.
Yeah, yeah.
Those usually go, and if you look at these on the end, let me see if I can take one of these. Yeah, if you look at the inside, how are they put on there? Are they just put on there? And are they crimped? Yeah, see, you can see how they're crimped in there. That's
Gotcha.
good. That is
Yeah.
really good. Usually they don't. They don't do that on these.
Let's check
Once
these
in a
guys
while
out.
they'll put a washer behind. If they put washers behind, that's even better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's that guy.
They're crimped.
Let's see what about these guys. I do run some boot trees in these ones, just because I have them. These are kind of my babies. I really like this. This
You
is
can tell. That's
Wicket
that's a good
and
leather
Craig
boot.
leather, and yeah, I think these will outlast me, man. But yeah, they do that as well.
Yeah, see, they crimp them. Always look for the eyes. If you see these boots and they have a washer in the back, you know you got a good deal. That's a pretty good. Although these are pretty good. These are pretty well crimped.
The footbed is really molding to my foot, because like you said, it's all leather through there.
And it looks like they've got an orthopedic arch in there. An orthopedic arch. They have these fancy words for an arch, but what it does is it conforms right to your foot, and it hits you right on their foot, and that's good. You can see these on these. The arch is really good and high on these. These ones, the same thing, it looks like. Yeah, so you can see that there's a really good arch in there, good support for your feet. And those are the things that I look for. The sole, the midsole, the stitching, what kind of eyelets they have. I always look when I see boots like this, I say I'll see a tear, and I say, well, let me see what happened to that tear. And you can tell, that tells you what kind of quality boot you have. It didn't
Yeah.
go through. And it's a good, sturdy, strong boot. The sewing on the bottom, the heels, the base is a leather base.
Yeah, I don't have any of the heels separating at this point.
No.
They got nails down in there too, but I haven't seen any
No, they
major
don't.
heel separation at this point.
The leather just grabs the rubber. That's what I like.
Mm.
It just, and when you nail it, you don't need to have that many nails on it because it's just a good adhesive with that sole, with the heel and the sole. So that makes a big, big difference on these.
Yeah, they say that rough out takes scratches like that even better. But I don't think I've caught these yet on anything. But yeah, I'm a sucker for that rough out too.
And I think it'd be warm too.
Right.
A rough
Yeah.
out like that. Yeah. Rough out, suede. I like the suede. They call these fancy words, but I'm from the
Yeah.
old school. Suede,
Sweet.
but rough out.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then the smooth leather. That's what I like, the cowhide leather. Yeah.
None of these have the toe cap. I actually do like a good toe cap, but these ones aren't necessarily.
Now
The
by
type
toe
of
cap,
boot
you're
that-
saying on the outer part of it? Or?
Yeah, sewn on.
Uh-huh.
These aren't necessarily the kind that you'll be down on your hands and knees
Right,
in the mechanic
uh-huh.
shop. You'll be more traipsing through the woods
Right,
with these kind of
uh-huh.
boots. So we've been talking about this one quite a bit, and I did want to point out that they went ahead and fixed this on all the new boots. So considering that that's fixed, because that's one of the dings that we've talked about so far, What of these boots kind of sticks out to you? What, you know, I don't know if you'd want to land on one.
Yeah,
but
I kind of prefer this one for around this area. You know, a lot of these suede ones or work boots and stuff like that are good for that area. But around here in the valley, a lot of the guys like the nice, smooth leather.
Okay.
It's a good working boot for them. For them, it's easy for them to take care of. You know, clean them, prepare them, everything. With the suede around here, we have a lot of farms, ranches, and agricultural workers. The suede is too hard for them to keep them. They'll get wet, or it's just real hard to maintain them. Whereas with the smooth leather, it's easy for them to clean them, get them ready to go, and put them back in again, and treat them.
Yeah, we were talking about some conditioners, and a lot of guys appreciated that on the last video, but we were talking about that, what was it, Norwegian?
Yeah, that
Again,
Norwegian.
And then you were saying to hit it first with some black rock that's going to clean it too.
We use this black rock leather cleaner. What we do is we use this first, like on a boot like this. If you notice on this boot that you have here, it's got a lot of black. See the black with the buildup?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what you used on those,
Right.
but this black rock will take some of that stuff off.
Okay.
It'll clean all, it takes all the surface dirt, all of this black that's on there,
Yeah.
and it just prepares it, opens up the pores of the leather, so it cleans them off really good. And then what we
brush
do,
that on, or do you use your hands? How do you, as a cleaner, how do you use it?
As a cleaner, I'll show you how I do that. I'll just any kind of normal rag. Where's this jar at? Does he have that here? Was this one he was using? Yeah. Okay.
This is how you get a free boot cleaning from your buddy.
With the black rock, you don't need, a little bit goes a long way. That's what we like about this too. So you can see the black that's on there. You can just rub it in there, and you can see how it starts taking all that black stuff off of there. It just cleans that leather really good. Rub it in there.
I think that's opening up these guys to a newer idea too, that some of these conditioners really are cleaners and have that.
See on the black how it comes off on the rag.
Have a cleaning agent built into it as well.
Yeah, and it just cleans it. Conditions the leather to it, but you can see it just starts taking all that excess black that's on there, and then you just kind of rub it in there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's from where I store these. I got to think about that. I don't necessarily baby them. They are my babies.
See, there's a lot of buildup on these boots.
I got to think about where that came from.
And it could be just from normal wear and tear from something, but you can see a lot of that black. So it'll just start taking all that stuff off of there.
Yeah.
See?
Yep.
All that stuff just comes off. And once you put that on there, then you get some of this. What we like to use is the same thing as we use this Norwegian cream. A little bit goes a long way. A lot of this, we have a lot of farmers, a lot of ranchers around here.
Yep.
And this prevents that acid from the cow manure.
Oh,
Cow manure just eats down these leathers.
Yeah,
This stuff prevents that. I like to use my fingers the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. And then just rub it in.
So directly after cleaning
right
it,
after cleaning them, you put them in there, and you can see right away. It brings out the leather right away.
It's looking great.
See how that works? Yeah, it really brings it out right away.
That looks great.
You can
These
just
boots
see
already
how,
look great, so yeah.
Yeah, so you can see how much that helps that leather, especially on the stitching. I always like to put a lot of this Norwegian right on the stitching, where that stitching is, because that goes right away. The water eats on those stitching. Boy, this stuff is really good.
Shoot, yeah.
We've had a lot of these. We worked with a lot of stuff. We worked with Hubert, we worked with mink oil, we worked with all kinds of stuff, but we preferred this Norwegian. We like it because it's a company that's been around for a long time. It's one of the older ones.
Okay.
And that counts. I think, when a lot of things change, but this has been constant stuff. And it works. And that's what we like. That's what we use for waterproofing leather.
Yeah, the Norwegian, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it, friends. I think, to be honest, it looks like this guy is winning the day, at least if you're here in Alamosa, Colorado. Any last thoughts on some of these boots, and any little tips or tricks on this stuff?
The big thing is on the suede, be careful how you treat that suede. The best thing is just to brush them. Don't put too much on that suede because it eventually will eat the suede. They just need, the suede is really good on these boots. You don't really need to treat them too much. It's just the leather parts that you may want to treat on these. But other than that, no, these boots were worth the price. They really are. You paid for what you get.
Yeah, yeah.
You really are.
Well, friends, we're going to make sure and put all their contact information in the description. So that way, if you guys need something repaired, you can ship them on over here. I know they'd be more than happy to take care of your stuff and send it back with a little bit of Norwegian put back on top. But friends, you know what? If you're in the Alamosa area and you need some work done or you want to ship some stuff over, make sure and show these guys some love because we sure appreciate you always letting us come in. If there's some questions that you have that maybe it's not even related to these boots, go ahead and drop it in the comments. We'll see if Joe has time to respond, or maybe I'll pick his brain on that at a later date. And if there's another thing that you'd like to see us talk about here as I come back in the future, let me know that in the comments as well. But I think that's going to do it for us today. Again, man, thanks so much
thank you for coming in to kind of picking at some of the stuff that I do. Like I say, I don't claim to be no expert. It's just our day-to-day stuff that we do here. So we're right in the trenches of all this stuff. And like I say, I really appreciate you coming in, taking your time to come in and see us. Yeah,
Yes,
I really do. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thanks.
Sir. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next video.